Hi, I'm Brian Ives from Beasley Media Group, and I'm the host of How I Wrote That Song. This series is a group effort between us, BMI, HD Radio, and we're powered by Yeti mics. Thank you, Yeti. The mic includes DTS audio technology, and you can buy it wherever electronic gear is sold. Today, we're talking to Smokepurpp. You know his songs Audi, Do Not Disturb, To the Moon, and a lot of others. Thanks for giving us the time, man.
Man, thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate you guys. I've been rocking with you guys for a while,
So I wanted to start with Audi, but before getting to Audi, your story is you were producing tracks and sometimes you couldn't get them placed, so you started rapping on them. Am I right with that story, or how did you get to Audi?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I started off producing, but I was very small, so nobody really used my beats. So, eventually I just started rapping, and then, once the rapping started moving, I got back into making beats, because then I knew more people. I had more connections and more people to give my beats to. But at first I didn't. So most of the beats that I used to make used to go straight to Lil Pump, straight to Pump.
Right. And so it's a huge moment for you. I mean, every artist has a moment in their career where it's like, now it's really taken off. Talk about how Audi affected, your path, your journey.
Audi that's the song that changed my life. I never thought, I didn't even know that was the song that was going to do that for me. I had this song Audi in my phone, like just in my catalog for over a year before I even dropped it. I was never even planning on dropping it. It was just like another song to me. And yeah, when I signed my deal, that was literally the first single we put out. It was Audi, and it changed my life. I love that song.
I feel like sometimes a lot, if you have the right line in a song, like some Beyonce songs have, like, I woke up like this. Everyone says I woke up like this. You got to put a ring on it. And that line, I don't want friends, I want Audis.
Exactly.
That's probably something that
anybody can relate to that,
Yeah. I mean, has it come more true now than it was at the time that you wrote it? Like, now you could actually afford Audis.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, of course. At the time, I couldn't afford an Audi, you know what I'm saying? But I said, I want Audis, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say I have Audis.
So, I mean, now presumably you have both.
I feel like I kind of just spoke it into existence, I think manifestation is real.
I mean, that line to me has always stood out, but talk about the rest of it too.
When I go in the studio and I make a song, I go off the vibe, off the vibe that I've had throughout the day, the vibe in the studio, and, what me and the producer are thinking, what we're clicking on. So for that song, it was more like, around that time when I made that song, that was like when I first had gotten into like, making like my sound, like that hard hitting, distorted bass stuff. We actually made the beat in LA. I recorded the song in Florida.
Cool, man.
And I just had the song for like a year and a half. I didn't think nothing of it.
So how does it go then? So you go to the label, you play them a bunch of things that you have, and they kind of say that one, kind of like that.
I mean, I have creative control. My label trusts me. I write music, I produce. I'm all about music, so they trust my ear.
Talk about To the Moon. That's a song that I like. I know it's probably one that you like a lot as well. Talk about the writing of it. I don't know if you remember, it sounds like you were going to the moon a lot when you were thinking of writing the song. So talk about that.
To the Moon, man, that's one of my favorite songs by myself. To be honest, it's probably definitely top 3 of my favorite songs on Death Star 1. The writing process for that, it was like, I was really high around like that time. I was young and stuff. So, I was just in the studio and I was just vibing, relaxing to the beat. And I started writing to it in my notes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Nova, he made the beat. I started writing to it in my phone. But I was feeling the beat so much that it was just coming to me faster than I was even able to write it. So I remember specifically I had written like maybe like 7 or 8 bars. And then I was like, yo, this is too much. It's too much. I'm just going to record this and then just freestyle the rest. There was like bars and bars were coming to me and I wasn't able to remember everything and just keep writing it that fast. So I had just written those 8 bars, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna record these, and then just punch me in from there, and I'm gonna just do the rest. I'm not gonna write the rest. So that song, like, I feel like the reason people gravitate towards it and like it so much is because it's so raw. You know, I didn't edit any of the mistakes out on that song. I left them all in there.
Do Not Disturb, you're working with Offset and Lil Yachty. That's like A-list big league stuff. That must have been really, I don't know if you were in the studio together, just being on a track with those guys must be like, wow, this is happening.
Yeah. I actually have a lot of songs with Yachty, a lot. And shout out to Yachty. He's one of my favorite rappers. He's really underrated in my opinion. But yeah, and I did, Offset did his verse in the studio. The song was me and Yachty, and I ended up linking up with Offset in the studio. I showed him the song, and he was like, "This one, I want to get on this one." He hopped on that one, and it went crazy. And the crazy thing about that song, see, every song has its own story. The crazy thing about that song is that the song blew up, and then like a year later, maybe, or a year and a few months later, it blew up even bigger.
It's really interesting, man, because like a record label could say, all right, we're putting $500,000 into making a video for this song, and it does okay. And then some kid will like do a TikTok dance.
Right.
And then that, you didn't spend not even a nickel on it. And that's the thing that makes it huge. Like, that's crazy. Do you reach out to the original person and say, hey man, thanks for that? Or do you know who it is? Or?
Oh yeah. And they actually do. They actually do a lot of choreography videos to my songs.
You have a collaborative song out right now called Birds with Wookie. Because I know he's from a different genre pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Working with Wookie was dope, man. Like, a lot of people don't know, like the first thing I ever tried to produce was EDM. Like, that was the first like when I decided I wanted to do music, the first thing I tried was producing EDM. It was way too hard. I couldn't do it. I was like, wait, just too much. I couldn't do it. But man, I loved working with Wookie. It was just organic. You know what I'm saying? It felt right, and the song was amazing.
So talk about the song Prom Queen. That song, your manager was telling me, you guys found a really old sample, Wendy Renee, After Laughter. I'm a really big fan of 60s soul and stuff on Stax Records. I never heard of her or that song. So I'm curious where that song came, like how did you come upon that song and figure out we're going to sample it for this?
To be completely honest, I had never heard that. I had never heard that sample until the day that we made that beat. I just decided to listen to. I was just listening to old songs, you know, to gain some inspiration, and then I came across that, and I was like, "Yo, this would be really cool, like to sample and, you know, make a beat out of it." That's exactly what we did. It was me, Mike Zara, and DSC Sunny, which is my brother. He's also a producer. We grabbed the song, we got chopped it, sampled it, did the drums, and I recorded it right then and there.
Talk about Rockstar as well. That's a really short song, and I feel like these days you don't really need to be 3 or 4 minutes if you do in less than 2, but it's catchy enough, it works.
Rockstar is another one of those songs that I actually sat on for like 2 years and dropped it now. 2 years, like, wow, it's a long time, yeah. And when I dropped it, it still felt it felt like it was recorded at that time. So, you know, usually there's songs from 2 years ago that I recorded that if I dropped now, they would sound really outdated. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I recorded that song like 2 years ago and I dropped it now, and, you know, it just fit perfectly to what's going on now.
Well, tell me about "I Love It" by Kanye then, because I know that's one.
I don't know much to say. I remember I recorded it on Pump's birthday. It was Pump's birthday. We were at his house. Kanye had called him, or he had called Kanye or something, and they are like he already had like the whole idea for the song and like what he wanted, like, and what he wanted it to be. The idea was already there. It's not like I had to come up with the idea of what the song has to be about, what it needs to sound like. Like he already knew exactly how he wanted to execute it. And that made it really easy for me to write the song. And yeah, Pump cut his part, he cut his part. And the crazy part is that my ad-libs are still on the song. I don't know if they left them there on purpose or if they forgot to take them out, but it's close. Like the ad-libs are still me.
Cool, man. Well, that's all I got. Thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with us. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch everybody else next time on How I Wrote That Song.
Smokepurpp.